And we are live now. Farida ma'am, please start. Thank you so much. All the best, team.
Okay. So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Namaste. Hello. Hola. Ciao to all the beautiful souls on this online platform of Thunderbolts. Training that will create thunders and wonders, episode 20. So, does somebody know what time it is? Anyone?
Time to be happy.
Yes, it's time to be happy. And I'm going to sing a rhyme. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. And the way to be happy is to make someone happy, and we'll have a little heaven right here. We will have a little heaven right here. So it's time to be happy. And what better platform than Positive Thoughts Family, where we all come together to create a bond of togetherness, love, and belonging. So, beautiful souls, do you all agree? If yes, give us a shoot out or a thumbs up. Do we all connect here? We have a feeling of bond, belongingness. Let me see the shootouts. Let me see the thumbs up. Oh, wow. Yes, I see all the thumbs ups. That's great. So yes, that's what we feel, and that's what this Positive Thought family gives us. Happiness, abundance, right? So friends, I am Farida Mesiwala, a happiness and parenting coach, a laughter yoga leader trainer, and a corporate trainer into leadership skills, emotional intelligence, behavioral training, and soft skills training. So let me tell you more about this beautiful family. I'm sure we all know about it, right? But nevertheless, I need to tell you about it. So Positive Thoughts Family is a brokered UK ISO certified GST registered firm registered under Ministry of MSME, Government of India, along with many international collaborators. It's a global community of speakers and trainers, coaches, educationists, healers, authors, social activists from across India and from almost 50 different countries on a mission to learn, connect, share, and bridge the gap between brands, organizations, nations, and we work on the mission of empowerment for stress-free education and life. This elite executive committee is for all the like-minded positive people from across the globe who want to share, inspire, and help each other to grow their successes together by empowering one another. A big round of applause to the men who has brought this Positive Thoughts family together. And it was his vision. And against all challenges, he went all out and created this beautiful vision of his, which came to life. So, friends, let's applaud none other than our Dr. Gaurav Sharma. Wonderful and an energetic person. He is well known, right? But I would still like to tell a few things about him. So he's a respected multi-award winning motivational speaker, life coach, and a social activist, founder and CEO, Positive Thoughts Consulting and Training Solutions, and co-founder, 28 Credentials and Entrepreneurs Malaysia. So friends, tell me, we all agree that time to be happy is now and here, isn't it? We all agreed, right? Yes? So then, is there a recipe for happiness? No. We tend to forget that happiness does not come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather of recognizing and appreciating what we have. So true happiness is to enjoy the present, be in the moment. Right? So without much ado, let me welcome internationally acclaimed inspirational speaker, popularly known as Happiness Women, none other than Professor Dr. Kavitha G.S. Now, little more about her. She's a positive psychologist, a psychotherapist, psychometric test professional, QPR gatekeeper, trainer for suicide prevention, and social activist for world peace and happiness. She started counseling across the world, leaving her well-paid job, following her passion. And it is then she realized the need of the hour is the acceptance of a situation and enabling a positive thought with a positive approach. And that got her into those trainings. She conducts exclusive happiness sessions in the name of Happiness is Your Birthright, and has counseled 3 lakh plus women and adolescents voluntarily on happiness till 2021. She has been recognized as Dhasumania by Niti Aayog, Government of India, and won many accolades. So friends, let's put our hands together for Professor Dr. Kavitha, Executive Director for Center for Positive Learning and National Coordinator Wellness for India, Coven Action Network. So Dr. Kavitha, please, we are eager to hear from you and would like to know more about happiness as a birthright. So welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming on this platform.
Namaskar, very good evening, and thank you, Dr. Gaurav, for this amazing opportunity and the wonderful folk here. And thank you so much, Farida, for your kind introduction. I think I found a lot of positivity being a spiritual person too. I could actually sense a lot of positive vibes the moment the talk started. So I think that gives me a serious pep up for me to really move with the session. I'm not going to showcase any presentation because I'm kind of a people person, and I think I'm more better when I just like that talk rather than restricting myself onto a screen and then stopping myself for the next slideshow to come in. That somehow makes me so uncomfortable unless until it is a research paper presentation. I seriously don't prefer. So I like to make this session so informal, and please feel free to stop me in between if there are any questions you have, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And because I always believe that if there are no questions asked, either people are not understanding what I'm trying to tell, or they have understood so much, which is never the case. I strongly believe that. So I believe probably my ability to give an idea about happiness to the people haven't reached to the extent that I'm expecting the idea to reach the people. So thank you so much once again. I think I'll take around 40-minute session, 45-minute session, and probably we will just have we'll have a doubt session later. And if there are anything in between, please feel most welcome to ask me the questions, and I'll be more than pleased to answer you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. So how we'll go is you can go with your flow, and then all the questions will take in the end of the session so that we are not distracting your thought process. Right?
Okay. Probably I take it other way around. If there are questions asked, probably I know my cognitions work much better. Anyways, that is fine. I leave it to you. Fine. I leave it to you, Ms. Farida. I mean, any way you want. And one more thing, like in case of any technical glitch in between, anyways, I'm also available from my mobile. I might not put my video on, but my audio will be on such that there is no distraction, probably a distraction of a couple of seconds for me to just plug in my earplugs of my iPhone. That's it.
Sure.
So let me just put it across such that we're all sure of the consequences of this 40-minute session. So once again, I'm known as a good storyteller. Because most of my audience, irrespective of the age, it could be a kindergartner to a 60-year-old or much more than that. People always love to listen to my stories because I feel stories are a great way of really understanding the life situations, because we can very comfortably connect them to our lives. So probably 3 stories to start off. I want you all to imagine yourself in that situation. And then probably the ground rules of this, the ground rules of my question would be, I would probably take the first 5 responses for any question that I put across in the training session. Because the moment I keep waiting, then I lose out on the content, like what I want to deliver today. At times, let me also tell you, I also have my naughty child side still in me. Probably at times I might commit something wrong, and then check your alertness to just let me know if I'm really reaching you. Are you listening to me or not? Because I'm a very happy kind of a professor, but at the same time, very naughty professor too. So there are many angles and shades that I want you all to understand. So alertness is something that's important, because we are not watching a movie. We are not watching for entertainment. There is some piece of some thought that at least should reach, if not every thought, what I try to put it across now. So my first story is this. Imagine yourself, you're getting an appraisal. You're getting the feedback on your work from your office, and all the good things about you has been written, the way you have worked and the way you try to build the team spirit. And there are around 5 to 6 points of good work, what has been mentioned in your appraisal. And there are around 3 points mentioned for the scope of improvement, or the area of improvement, like which you need to work upon. You're just going through the letter. You're so excited, because in any letter, nobody puts the point of improvement as the first line. The first line always comes out, what is good, what is so good, and what is something. So you take that, you're reading. There are 3 points, like, which are a little closer to your heart, to your heart, or you feel you are absolutely good at. That states that there is a need to improve. What is your emotional state after reading that letter? Are you superbly happy because you've seen something wow happening in the first 6 lines? Or the 3 lines are disturbing you a bit? Can I see the first 5 responses, please, in the chat box? Quick. Can I see the first 5 responses, please? Okay, I can see you're super excited. I want you all to be very honest here, because honesty is the key role here. There are around 5 to 6 things mentioned quite good about you, and there is one or a couple of things probably mentioned the scope for improvement. So what is your feeling after reading that? Or the question can be, let me rephrase my question. I think my question didn't reach you correctly. Does those 3 lines of scope of improvement, which are very close to your heart, when somebody says you're not good or you need to improve, does it hurt you a bit, or you accept it with a lot of appreciation? I can see one answer, one curiosity, no, as fast as possible, excited. Okay. Okay, so I can see a lot of positive people here. That's amazing. So let me go to my second story now. So till I get my answer, I'm not going to leave you. So let me get my answer. Okay, wonderful. I can see Mr. Hari Subhash Raghav. Amazing. I really appreciate your positive mindset. In general case, I'll come to the general case a little later. Can I please ask you to stop here? I'll move on to my next story now. Next story is something: you wake up in the morning, get onto your balcony. The moment you get onto your balcony, you see some beautiful flowers blooming in your flower pots, and then you see birds chirping in the sky, and you hear the birds chirping in the sky, and there is a beautiful aroma of coffee brewing in the kitchen. And you get your coffee, and your child or your somebody comes and knocks the coffee off. What is your mood of? What is your state of emotion there? What is your state of emotion? Can I see the first 3 quick responses, please? 3 quick responses. Angry, irritated, okay. Okay, we'll focus on birds, amazing. The last response, please. Disappointed. Thank you so much. Can I stop you here? Yeah. Yeah, this is my second story. My third story. You and your best half. It could be your friend, it could be your life partner, it could be anybody or the person whom you feel you're pretty close to. You get a tug of war. Things have been happening pretty smooth till yesterday night. And in the morning, there was something has started the differences. And then things go on. Tell me something. I think the general attitude would be to really bring back the old stories of the flaws done by the person. You done that day that thing, did I say you this? If you did that day something, did I say you this? Does it happen with you? Can I see some yes or no in the chat box, please? Have you experienced this? Does it happen with you? Yes. Thank you. Let me tell you the reason why, or let me also give you one more example. You have self-embarrassed yourself before a group of friends, and you didn't do it intentionally. It just happened. And you're out from the space, you move back. All your friends are meeting after 4-5 years. Does that embarrassment situation, do you recall on your mind? Does it happen with you or you forget about it? Can I see some quick responses of yes or no? 3 responses, please. You forget, wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Let me stop you here. So this is the foundation for my story today. So the reason why we spoke about all these things, let me tell you. Human beings, right from our ancestors, we have been hardwired to identify something that is more negative. I'll also give you a reason why it happens. You might ask me, where are we talking about happiness? Because happiness, you cannot create happiness. When you reduce the negativity biases, when you reduce the negative thinking patterns, eventually you start seeing the positive side of it. So let me first come to the background of what exactly happens and why this negative spirals keep predominating the mind. We are talking about the Adam and Eve times, probably, when Mr. Adam used to go to the forest, to fetch the wood and then the food for the family, where he was asked to take care of, the children, because women was always given the responsibility of rearing the children. So there used to be fear. There used to be problems through the natural disasters. It could be earthquake, it could be volcano, it could be anything, or through an animal attack. So the life was always on the brink of survival. So first time when you see something fearful is happening, when you feel that there is something that's fearful, you tend to protect yourself, because every life that takes birth on this planet Earth, the very first intention is to survive. One has to survive. If I start thinking everything is positive, everything is good, everything is wow, can I really protect myself from situations? It is not possible. Let's just say I'm standing here and I see a fire breaking out there. The moment I know I do something to stop the fire, the moment I know I have to do something to stop the fire, I don't protect myself, though the fire has not reached me. Because the first instinct of any life is to survive. And the way to survive is to first start thinking negatively. When you start thinking positively, you don't protect yourself. You need to think negatively. Fortunately, unfortunately, the hard wiring of this negative thought process in the mind has been moved on to generations and generations and generations. The same fear starts gripping our minds, even if there is a delay in paying the bill, even if somebody is insulting me, even if somebody is doing something to us. The fear stands strong. Why does the fear stand strong? Because we are scared of our survival. We are scared of our survival. So we have to protect ourselves. The so-called protecting ourselves, the theory of protecting ourselves for the survival has been so hardwired that even if something happens wrong, if something goes wrong, the first thing that strikes our mind is, let me think negative, and we alert, our brain alerts us. It alerts us to stand, to protect ourselves. So this is the reason why the negative thought process or the negative spirals are so much into our brain, which really inhibits from experiencing the happiness. Let me also tell you very interesting points, probably which might really help you. And most of the fear, any fear that you face in life can be categorized under five major categories. Anything else is a part of it, is a subshoot of it. The first fear is the fear of extinction, that is death. You are scared. You are super scared that you will die. The second fear is the fear for mutilation, which means that why some people have fear for heights? Because they feel they get mutilated. The arms might break, when I climb a height, because that is the way we survive. So there is a fear for mutilation. There is a fear for separation. And why do people kill themselves, or why do people take away their lives by suicide if a girl doesn't accept the proposal? Because a person is not ready to accept the fact that the person is going to be separated from the loved one. And why do people get into depression when their most important loved ones pass away? Because there is a fear of separation. And the fourth one is the fear of autonomy. What is autonomy? When somebody is put in a jail, when somebody is imprisoned, they do get the food. There is a shelter given to them. There is a food given to them. They are taught certain skills, and then the money is also being paid. But despite that, why are they scared? Because there is lack of freedom. Freedom is very, very important. So loss of autonomy. I lose my freedom. And when you see most of the teenagers, when certain parents restrict them, when there is so much of strict parenting that is being exhibited in the children feel fearful. They are brought up fearful, and they deviate when they grow up, because there is loss of freedom, which is one of the important aspects to survive. And the last but not the least, and the most important, is the fear of ego. Does the child feel bad when the child fails because the child is failing in the exam? Or does the child feels bad because parents think bad about the child, the society thinks bad about the child, or the neighbors think bad about the child, people would laugh at the child? Or if somebody is really, because most of us, even as adults, we fear failure. We fear failure not because we fear that. We fear failure because our ego is hurt. It is insult. It is an insult. It is my ego. What would society think about me? Because every human being is a social animal. As a social animal, we need acceptance from the society. We need people to say good about us. We need people to say, wow, you are amazing, Kavitha. If somebody says I'm bad, I get upset because my acceptance is not being given in the society. As simple as that. So any other fear an adult, a child faces is very much within these five kinds of fears. Right? So this is all about the fear story that you have to understand. Now, moving ahead with our session, let's come back to our negativity spiral. Why this negativity thought process, it troubles us so much. Because there are certain beliefs. Every human being lives his or her life based on certain belief systems and certain values. Right? We perceive ourselves, we perceive the world based on our belief systems. These belief systems do come in because of our nurture, because of the environment we are brought in, because of the way we have been reared up, In the family, it could be by the parents, by a caregiver, or anybody. It could be anybody. So there are certain belief systems that we form. These belief systems lead us to certain, let us say, I have been brought up in a family full of pessimism. I have been brought up in a family full of pessimism. It could be probably my way of negative thinking could be all or nothing. I feel unless until I achieve something in life which I have decided to achieve, I'm gonna be a failure. This is a thought that really is imbibed into the children, because of late we often see parents pressurizing the children or adults pressurizing themselves too much to do something that they don't have time for themselves. Unless until I achieve, unless until I buy that home, my dream home, unless until I take my family onto the dream vacation, unless until this is my bank balance, unless until this is my promotion, this is my retirement bank balance, unless until this is my promotion I need to get before I retire, I'm not successful. So there is an all or nothing thinking that is so much creeping into our minds, because of which a negative spiral happens or a negative thought process happens in our mind. And second, the way we look at ourselves is we negatively self-label ourselves. I always do this wrong. I'm so stupid. I can never do anything right. I am like this. And how does it come? It also comes from the parents. You are useless. You are fit for nothing. You can never do something. Or you tell your friend, because when the person is connected to someone so close, whatever is the opinion given by the person does do impact the other person so strongly. So when we don't really reach up to the expectation of the person we love, we start negatively self-labeling ourselves, and we feel and we lose happiness there. See, all these aspects, what I'm talking right now, these are all the variables that remove the happiness from your lives. And the third thing is minimizing. This is also a very interesting aspect. You've done a great job, but the way you feel, anybody would have done it. You don't give the credit for doing something wow. You don't give the credit for doing something good. You think this anybody would have done it. I often see this with the clients who come to me. I often see this. I say, wow, you've done, this is a great achievement. He said, man, that is a very normal thing. Anybody would have done that. The aspect of minimizing is one of the factors where you don't see the positive aspects of you. Rather, you think anybody in your position would have definitely done that, right? And the next thing is personalization. Personalization is something that wherein you think something, there is a perception that again comes from your belief system, and you believe that is right, and you start seeing the world the way you believe. That person didn't say hello to me while he was in the lift. That person didn't say hello to me. I know he always hates me, or she always hates me. I know she feels inferior with me. I know she's jealous of me. He is jealous of me. There is a personalization that comes from a belief system. This specific belief system makes you think negatively, which again inhibits the happiness. And the next thing is judgmental. You think you're very judgmental about situations. There are people who always say that this is wrong, that is right. I know it never comes in. I know it doesn't work like that. So the kind of attitude of being judgmental also stops a person from moving forward in life. So if we have to analyze, why do we have the negative spirals in our lives, or the negative thought process in our lives, we can understand this is because of these 5 different kind of categories of thinking that we usually adopt. Like I want to give you a small exercise. After the session, probably try to identify the patterns. I'm sure without great, conscious decision, we would have been putting ourselves in at least one or a couple of these negative thought process spiraling. Negative thought process silent. Try to identify that, because this one that keeps repeating in your life is one of the biggest inhibitor of your happiness. Biggest inhibitor of your happiness. So this is all about the negativity bias or negativity thinking, because most of us, when we have these way of or these thought processes, our decisions are based on those thought processes. When the decisions are based on those thought processes, our behavior with our relationships, with our work, with everything also impacts the happiness. It also impacts the happiness. So these are the basic things, like I thought I'll just put it across. The next thing I like to talk about is the destination addiction. You need to understand what it is. What is destination addiction? We always think that. Before that, I like to ask few questions, because I don't like silence a lot. So my answer should be either an yes or no. Okay. To the question what I asked. I have been working very hard. I have been trying hard to ensure that I get my 24 lakh CTC per year. 24 lakh CTC per year. I work so hard. I really work so hard, and finally I achieve my target of earning so CTC per year. I want you all to answer me. How long does the happiness of achieving that stay with you? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or is it forever? Or 4 years at the max, or is it forever? Can I see a few responses, please? Forever, okay. 1 year, okay. Thank you. I can see one pretty honest answer here. One of the things, exactly. There is a research that's been proven that anything materialistic, anything which you can quantify, will not give you the same amount of happiness. For example, I'll cite one more example for clarity. You wanted to buy your dream home. And you've been waiting, working so hard for it. And you've been so excited the day you're doing your housewarming ceremony, and you call your people, and there was a housewarming party, you call your people, you're so excited. So excited, the kind of happiness. When I say happiness is in the depth of happiness is what I'm talking. My question is all about the depth of happiness. So you're super excited. You've been living in that house for now 3-4 years now. 3-4 years now. Would you be still feeling the same happiness what you experienced much before getting this house or getting into this house? Can I see an yes or no after 5 years? Okay. Thank you. It doesn't mean that you will not be happy. You will be happy, but the kind of moment of happiness that you experience, or the kind of excitement you've experienced before getting into the house or before owning that house, that excitement, that depth of that emotion would not stay with you. Or probably it again rises up when someone comes and says, wow, you have such a beautiful house. When someone comes and tells you have such a beautiful house, probably you're super excited about it, but it doesn't stay with you forever. This is called the hedonic adaptation. There has been a lot of research done on this. The research states that it could be money, it could be any material position, it could be anything. It will not give you happiness for a long time. In the sense, like, it doesn't mean that you would be upset. It means that you would be happy, but not the kind of depth of that emotion to think that, wow, I'm super happy about it. It doesn't give you that. It is called hedonic adaptation. So you might ask me a question here. So if that is the case, then there's no point that a person can be happy, right? So what do we do then? The same research again states that states that if you attach your happiness to the materialistic benefits, you are happy, it gives you happiness, but the depth or the kind of emotion what you are expecting would be saturated at a certain point of time. You wouldn't be realizing the same happiness after some time. Okay, so, and research also states that altruistic work, helping others, helping your immediate community, or doing something for someone which they can never repay back. When I say this, I can give you an example here again. Let us say that your friend is in very serious problem, and he wanted to borrow, he wanted to loan some amount from you. And so the person has come to you and says that, he says that I need some $100,000. So could you please, loan it to me? So you give out the loan to him, and after 3-4 months, he returns the loan. He returns the loan to you. But tell me something. Will you not be happy? Just think about it. I'm taking a huge example of 100,000. You can talk about situations also. You can think about situations also. There has been a research that's been proven that a human being, as a community animal, when he is helping others at the time of the need, this happiness will not have a shelf life. It will be with you forever. It will be with you forever. It will be with you forever. I'll also ask you a question here, a simple question. Most of the huge companies, huge MNCs, they do the CSR activities. What do you think that is actually giving them? Why do they need to do the corporate social responsibility activities? What does it give them? Because the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman, it is pretty different. It's pretty different. So what I want to convey here, altruism or community help is something that always keeps you happy forever. And this is something that we ask the parents to train the children right from the childhood, because the adults cannot be with the children forever. And if the younger generations need to be taken up, and to be made the most successful citizens, the best thing to do is teach them altruism, teach them the community help. I'll also give you a psychological reason how it helps. The first thing, it adds meaning and purpose to the life. And most of the positive psychology research, it states that any activity that you do which adds meaning and purpose to your life will always make you happy. The meaning and purpose of my life is to at least touch 1 million lives before I leave the planet. My effort is for that, because that is the purpose. That is a meaning that adds to my very existence. So now I request all of you to find a meaning and purpose to your lives. Meaning and purpose should not mean how much you earn after so many years. It should not mean any material benefit. It should mean what you can do to the other person without expecting anything in return, and which cannot be returned. I come back to my example again. You have already given the loan of $100,000 to your friend, and your friend has returned that money to you. Still, your friend has not returned. Your friend has just returned the material benefit to you. Your friend has not returned the time to you. That time of where he was in dire need of help from you has been met, which can never be returned. Do you all agree with me or not on this? Can I see a couple of responses, please? Can I see a couple of responses? Thank you. So you need to do something. How do you define your purpose and meaning of life? You need to do something in your life which cannot be returned. If it is money, it can be returned. If it is any material benefits, it can be returned. But do something to somebody which they cannot return. Is my network slow?
No,
It's
ma'am.
only,
Here,
no.
here.
It's perfect.
Our
We can hear you.
network is slow. Sorry, sorry.
Thank you
for
so
Okay,
much,
no, that's
everyone.
okay.
Only moderator is allowed to interrupt.
Yeah.
Please
It's just
put your
perfect.
mic on mute mode. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So coming back to my talk again. And most of the people I often see, I saw the mental health issues rising during the pandemic. It could be because of loneliness. It could be because of anything. It could be because they were not able to connect to somebody, or it could be because of probably the businesses have come down, or it could be because of any reason. And let me tell you, in the process of doing so, people have not attempted to try to do something for someone. It could be just giving a call to somebody to just check out how they are doing, or it could be just having a Zoom meeting of your friends. You have a free platform, in fact, so you can just call for a Zoom meeting and then just say hello, hi, how are you, or probably make out a theme. People have not attempted this because, as I told you, we are all negatively hardwired. Why this to me? Why always me? Why me? So there is a kind of self-blame that has been played on every person, and the mental health of the people have been extremely spoiled. I tell you, the difference between a happy person and a sad person lies here. A situation when you can take it as an opportunity to do something, you can be happy. When a situation you stagger on, you crib on, you're saturated onto that situation, and you're cribbing and crying and wailing, things don't happen. Let me tell you the way you can look at it. I can give a small example. If I have to move around and give my talks, right? It's very difficult because I need to even take care of my company, because bread and butter is equally important apart from my social service, of course, for sure. So fortunately, the COVID has done too good to me. That's the way I look at it, because this is my 135th webinar, which is impossible to do in 1.5 years span, which is impossible to do. Just click on, sit on, and then from your office space, you can do anything here. So it's all in the mindset. It's all in the mindset, the way you look at life, the way you see situations, the way you perceive situations, the way you take opportunities from the given situation. If I say, because I'm a very people kind of a person, if I say I need to be with the people, and so I'm all alone to myself, staggered here, and I cannot move out of the fear of, the contracting the virus. So what is my situation? If I was thinking like that, probably my life would have been more worse. And I can tell you, this webinars, what I'm talking of, till the last breath of my life, I can proudly claim I have done something which is not possible during any other time. I cannot seriously, because all the time I cannot be on roads to just do that. There are certain other responsibilities on my head as well. So any situation, start looking at it as an opportunity. Now, let me give you a strategy. How do you overcome, or how do you control your negative behavior, negative thought process? There are a couple of things I like to tell you, but before that, let me again come to the general myths that we are all into. There are certain myths that we follow, right? That we strongly believe. The end of a positive event is the start of a negative event. Let us say that there is a couple like who've been dating for quite a long time, and they call it quits, and then the boy is upset, the girl is upset, because they think that is end of everything in life. Because the end of a good thing is a start of a bad thing, right? This is the general feeling. I'm doing a great business. Suddenly there is a huge loss in my business, and I feel, oh, my good business is lost. Now I'm in loss. So that is the end of everything. So I'm sad. I'm depressed, and I don't really bother to check into my happiness. That is the second myth. The third thing is all good things will give you happiness, and all bad things will give you sadness. Because happiness curve, if you really look into, it is not always an up curve. It is always an up and down curve. Whenever you are faced with a bad situation in your life, think of the worst situations in your life earlier, which you have successfully overcome, and you are sitting here today. I always tell this to people. Because a closed door is not a closed door forever. A closed door is an opportunity to open the door, and that is possible. And because when I put up a theory, when I put up a philosophical view here in front of you, it's not so easy to accept that fact. unless until you correlate, you connect to yourself in your life, you see yourself in your life, you will not be in a position to accept, because the brain is such a dramatic creature, you know. You need to be super smart with it. You need to be super smart with it. So whenever you are faced with the wrong situation, whenever you are faced with a negative situation in your life, the first thing, sit down, think of a situation which has troubled you in your past. I'm sure most of us have this. If somebody doesn't have, absolutely amazing, you're the blessed soul. But most of us do have this. So think of the worst situation. Think of the worst situation in your life. Think about and write down that situation first. Narrate that situation, right? Most importantly, write all the emotions you faced during that situation of your past. It could be hopelessness, it could be helplessness, it could be end of life situation, it could be like you are nothing, there is no way you can move forward. Think of all those emotions that you have faced. What did you do? What did you do that a spark has started coming into your life and you started seeing things happening good? What did you do? Did you change your thought? Did you change your behavior? Did you change? Because see, I tell you, I give up because my problem is my flow cannot stop. That is my whole weakness. You know, that's my biggest weakness rather. So I'll tell you a little later. Let me complete this. Think about the emotions. Think about the behavior, the specific behavior that has changed your thought process. That has changed your thought process. And after implementing this behavior, how did you find a solution to the problem? Think about this. I always tell people, don't be very conscious about your problems. When I say conscious about your problems, one should know what they are doing. One should be aware of the emotions. One should be aware of the behavior. One should be aware of what did they do. What did they do that the situations have drastically changed now, right? When you think about this, you're subconsciously telling, because 80% of our behaviors are based on the subconscious mind. You're subconsciously telling your mind, "Arey yaar, this is not a big deal, you know, you can still solve this. You can still solve this. You've done it earlier. It's not something new to you. You can still do that." When you do that, from a negative spiral, you start pushing yourself to a positive spiral. This is something that I tell parents to teach. Don't say this is end of life. When something is wrong, that's not end of life. When some child fails, that's not end of life. When a relationship breaks, that's not end of life. Life is so beautiful. It's meant to be, because most of us, we only look at the destination. It is called the destination addiction. What is destination addiction? We think until my successful outcome is the outcome of my work is success, I cannot be happy. Right? We don't, while doing so, we are not in the process, because the process teaches you many things. The process teaches you what you should do. The process teaches you what you should not do. The process teaches you how to control your emotions. The process is most important. So, I mean, if you have to pull up, because this is something that has been told in Bhagavad Gita many years ago, karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't bother about the end result of it. Bother about what is in the process, because what we fail to understand, our life, our perception, our beliefs are made through the process, not through the destination, not through the outcome. Most of us, we are so much addicted to the destination that we fail to be in the process. When we fail to be in the process, we don't understand, we lose out our happiness, because we do so much. Because not every work you cannot have an absolute control. I try to give my talk here. Where is the guarantee that everybody is going to learn? Absolutely not. And if I start thinking some have not learned, then I'm into my negative spiral. Rather, if I start thinking, probably at this point of time, somebody is happy that this is not making sense to them. It's not making sense to them. probably when there is a problem, this probably might make sense to them. If I start thinking like that, I get motivated to do something. If I think nobody understands this, then there is no point. Because I give you a small joke here. I was actually giving a few strategies, to some people, I first let me give you the strategy. Then before that, let me tell you how our mind works. This is very important. For anything that you behave, for any emotion that, or any behavior, for any action that you do, there is an emotion. Behind that emotion, there is an experience. Behind that experience, there is a situation. Behind that situation, there is a context. Every brain works like this. It could be Ambani's brain, it could be Modiji's brain, it could be Kavitha's brain, it could be Gauravji's brain, it could be Farida's brain. This is a simple logic. The whole psychology is based on this. The moment we start changing our thought process, there is a change in the behavior. When there is a change in the behavior, there is a change in the outcome. So some people ask me this. Somebody asked me a very smart question, which I never thought about. I'm talking way back, 9 years back. So you don't find it, you don't see any problems in your life? I said, of course I do see. But you talk about happiness. I said, of course. See, a happy person doesn't mean the person does not have problems, but the way the person perceives the problem and solves the problem is different. I'm sad, I'm upset. The way I solve the problem is different. I'm happy, I know how to solve the problem. My cognitions, they are much, much clearer, because when I'm sad, why this? Because I only start thinking so much of emotions on myself. And I say, why this to me? Why all this to me? Why not to somebody else? So all the time, I'm only emotionally down. There is an emotional meltdown. I'm emotionally downtrodden here, but I fail to forget a solution to the problem. Because even if you notice, some of the people who think so much of negativity, you will find that they will be in so much of that negative emotions that they don't really sit down to solve the problems. They don't try to find the solutions. They only say, why this happened to me? Why all this to me? Why only me? So this feeling of self-love is so much, that emotional self-love is so much that they don't really attempt the problem. The difference between a happy person and a person with a lot of negative spiral down, the difference is, that's absolutely right, Dr. Gaurav. And by me instead of try me, absolutely.
And Doctor, can I just interrupt you here, because since we're on the topic, we always curse our naseeb, my destiny. But I would like to get this for everyone. And as you rightly said, it's all in the thought. So there's one very good quote, so powerful. It says, watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your action. Watch your action, because that becomes your habit. And watch your habit, that becomes your character. And watch your character, because that becomes your destiny. So instead of cursing our destiny, I think we need to start working in our thoughts, which very rightly is projected by you, that everything is in our mind. And you've broken up the layers of your mind so well, we never thought of, okay, itne sare bhi layers, because you can just see as one mind, So amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Ms. Farida. I think that's a lovely thought.
Yeah,
that's really
right. Not just a right, moment.
Absolutely.
Thought,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So coming back to my talk again. Yeah. So most of the times we do have a self-love for protecting ourselves through the strong emotions, that we fail to identify solutions to the existing problems. So there is a small technique here. This is called an ABC technique. So A indicates the antecedents, the situations that has created to that behavior or created that behavior. B is the way a person has behaved in that situation. C is the outcome of the behavior. This is pretty important in any given situation in life, because it helps you identify the crux or the little important, the heart of the whole problem. Let me tell you, as I mentioned, what are the various ways that your mind can start thinking negative? negative, the negativity bias, which I just spoke some time back. When you are able to identify the ABCs of that particular problem, you will understand that this is what it is. You will understand that there is a crux, because I know I failed in my business. I came home and my husband is shouting at me that, this is not done, that is not done. Then I started shouting back at him. What did you do? What did I do? So there is a rupture in the relationship. I'm not talking to him. He's not talking to him. I'm upset. He's upset. This is to cite an example. Okay. Let us imagine I'm writing an ABCs of this. Okay. What has happened before the behavior? He shouted at it. He shouted at me, right? Then he shouted at me. Why I had to react? Probably his problems are same as my problems. Probably his emotions in that problem are same as mine. And why do I think my problems are much bigger than his, that I start reacting back so badly? That was the behavior. See, because of this one talk that I ruptured back or reacted back so badly, it has led to a series of, from all the years of marriage, that it ruptured the relationship. If it ruptures 20 times like this, the next best thing with youngsters often I do see is divorce. Because we see there's no way we can patch up the relationship. So the last technique I like to give you to really stop the negative spirals is use an acronym called FAST. FAST. Be fair to yourself, be fair to your other person with whom you're talking. Don't forget the emotions of you are as important as his. Don't be biased only with your emotions. Second one is the A. Don't apologize. If you have a difference of opinion, if your opinion varies, if you differ from your other person, don't apologize. Don't overly apologize. Not required. Because too much of submissiveness also leads to a lot of stress, which can stop the happiness. Too much of apologizing. You need not slaverize yourself too much to a given situation. Victimizing too much is also not right. And the third one is stick to your values. And if your values are bad, that's a different story. But if you feel your values are very genuine, stick to your values. And T, be truthful. Be truthful to yourself at least, if not to anybody. Be truthful to yourself. Because I see most of the women suffer a lot because they are not truthful to themselves. They put on their life so much onto the family, onto the children, onto everybody, that they don't get time for themselves. So be truthful to yourself. Try to understand and don't apologize. Don't apologize for giving time to yourself. Don't apologize. Never do that. Because there is a very funny quote. If you cannot stay with yourself for a long time, then you are in a bad company, as simple as that. So when you are lonely, when you are isolated, you should be more happy. Your company at least should be good. When you yourself cannot appreciate your company, how are others going to appreciate your company? So being with yourself is one of the most important thing, such that you know yourself better, your values better, your systems better, you know your behavior better. And there is a way you reflect and introspect and interrogate to understand what you are as a person, because unfortunately, most of us, we really do not know what we are. We try to know ourselves by others. When they say we are good, we feel we are good. When they say we are bad, we think we are bad. Because we don't identify ourselves with our values, with our systems, that we always depend on somebody to identify us, which is not right. So, ma'am, Ms. Farida, how much more time I have got with you, or is it done? Can I take questions?
We can. Thank you, ma'am, so much. I mean, you gave us so much of in-depth, discussions on what happiness is and emotions, and how do we come out of the negative spiral the fast way. Now, let us have some, questions coming from the audience.
Sure. Yeah.
We have, say, 2 or 3 questions coming in. So please raise your hands if you have any questions. Anyone? Or you can just unmute and ask ma'am questions if you have any doubts. So ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Now, you talked about that, we cannot create happiness because, we are scared of survival. And you gave us those 5 fears, okay? The fear of extinction, mutilation, separation, freedom, and ego. Now, I have this question on survival. I mean, I assume that all of us on this platform, we don't have to worry on a survival. We are fine, okay? But then for the downtrodden, people of the society, I mean, they struggle for their survival. They don't know ki kal roti kahan se aayega, from where I'm going to get my next meal. Now, for such people, how can we promote to be happy? How do we tell them that, no, you got to be happy? Because it becomes very difficult to, advocate happiness on them, because they said, you don't need to worry. You have everything. We are worried. So how can I be happy? So I want your, strategy. How do we help such people?
The most important thing, thank you so much for the question, Ms.
Yeah.
Farida. The most important thing, if we have to look at the basic needs for survival, one is food.
Yeah.
Let us say somebody is super hungry and I say, go and tell them, be happy. There's no point that somebody can be happy, right? My talk is for the people who have a day-to-day staple meal, who can have a square meal, right? And who are little free of pain, right? We are not talking about a person who's on the deathbed struggling so hard and I go and tell them, be happy. It doesn't work like that. We are talking about the majority chunk who have food, who have the basic needs met, who have a shelter above their head, who have clothing, who have some food to eat, but still are not happy, who still wait for happiness from somewhere. Because certain things need to be met, which is pretty important. Food. Because nobody is a saint here to just meditate and sit without food and then no, because we all depend on the external source for food, for energy. When we are depending on the external source for energy, obviously that needs to be met. That needs to be met. So the basic needs, unless until they are met, we cannot teach happiness to people. It's impossible, because we are looking at a majority chunk who have everything with them, who have food to eat, but still are not happy for some reason. So the basic needs are pretty important, because unless until that is met, and let us talk about a child. The child needs food. The child needs a warm, caring environment. The child needs positive emotion. The child needs security. The child shouldn't feel threatful. But despite that, if the child is still feeling bad, that is an area where you can actually teach happiness. Let us say these 3 things are not met. We cannot teach them happiness, because they are the basic things to survive, without which it's impossible to teach them something beyond that.
But thank you so much for your, answer. But can we hear to such people who say that, okay, be positive and be, have the smiles, because we are creating a positive energy around us. So will that help, instead of getting into the negativity of, things? Can we look into things with a positive mindset that, yes, I will be able to survive?
I would rather add up something more.
Yeah.
Rather than just giving the verbal talk, let us give them food.
Yes, that is it. Yes.
Let us give them some blankets. If they're shivering in the cold, let's give them blankets, because I think probably the basic needs have to be met. Let us say there is a child who's under an emotional threat in the family because of some sexual abuse. Let us try to protect the child. Let us try, because the basic needs, until they are met, it's impossible to move forward. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
Very right.
I think that is where our altruistic nature has to project. We need to identify, this is the problem. Let me do that. Because without doing that, there's no point in giving a philosophical lecture. There's no point. It doesn't work.
So as you rightly said, we have to give back to the society, and that gets us the happiness. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Or Supriya, do we have any questions coming in? I think.
Do you want me to ask, Supriya?
Yes, you can.
Okay. That was a wonderful session. And I would like to say that when we start decluttering ourselves, decluttering our spaces, and in the same way, we need to declutter our thoughts also. So the moment when you start decluttering your thoughts, the happiness that we experience at that moment is more than all the materialistic things and achievements. So I hope we all agree with this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any emotion is an energy. The very principle of energy is to move. It shouldn't be stagnated, in the body, in the mind, in the form of thoughts. It needs to flow. Unless until there is a flow, you cannot really regenerate the energy back.
Yeah, we need to leave our emotional baggage at the previous station, march ahead with pride.
Absolutely.
Don't carry the emotional baggage with you. That's what I believe in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And this needs practice because we need to be at a form it a habit of keep on decluttering ourselves. Yes, very right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Much. Yes. So any further question for ma'am? So if no questions for ma'am, then I would call upon Supriya Kumaravelan for vote of thanks.
Well,
Definitely. And Supriya ji, thank you so much. And this is the time I'm going to share the Google form link in the chat box.
Okay.
And as usual, kindly fill the Google form. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Sure. And wow session, I must say. And Miss Kavitha, the way you explored the things today on this platform, you have raised doses in everybody personality. That is your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And we all are imbibed with such great happy hormones. And I think n number of key takeaways you have given: perception, judgmental, and destination addiction. This is new word for me, which I learned today. What is the meaning and purpose of your life? Focus on that. And little bit, we have to love ourselves. And that is not a selfishness, we all know. Expectations. We always expect things, and we at the end, we always blame ourselves, self-blaming, cribbing, then crying. Better don't expect, but appreciate the things which you are having in your life. So n number of key takeaways you have given. Thank you so much, Kavitha ji. Great, humbled and honored. I don't have words to appreciate your audacity, your versatility, and your simplicity, which has motivated everyone to be happy, stay happy, and lifelong have a beautiful smile on your face, whatever may happen in your life. If anybody is smiling, it doesn't mean that he or she has not gone the roller coaster of problems. Everybody is having, I am having Mr. Gaurav Sharma, Gumadi, and every beautiful faces, all are having. But respond, react, know the difference. And if you want to cry, it's in your choice. If you want to happy, it's in your choice. So make yourself or break yourself. It's all in our hand. So why don't we make? And why don't we smile? And why don't we happy? So for today's session, let's be happy. Ladies and gentlemen, I will request everyone to smile now and then take a lead. Yes, come on, Marijana, Radhan, Kumari, Katuna, Inga. Have a beautiful smile.
Priya, as we said, the time to be happy is now, and the time to be happy is here.
Yeah.
And the way to be happy is to make everyone happy. And
thank you very much.
We will have a heaven right here.
100%, 100%. And let's move to the virtual felicitation of happiness. Yes, please share it. I can see all happy faces, all happy faces. Yes, Mr. Gaurav. Ina ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, please share it. And I'm so happy For this session, we all have one thing in common. We all are smiling today. Suraya Banerjee, yes, what a positive smile you're reflecting, and I'm overwhelmed. And here comes.
And Supriya, Ina wanted that only so that we have more smiles, and that's why the delay, so that we all keep on
Exactly,
smiling for
exactly.
more time.
So this is a small token of respect
Thank
for
you. Thank you so much.
Dr.G.C. Kavitha. Please give a big round of applause for
Thank you.
generating happiness on this platform. This is for you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's lovely.
And moving on to my journey, we do have for the most positive, beautiful, reflecting, and very humble person, down to earth, for Miss Farida. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.
And of course, last but not the least, beautiful and lovely participants who are continuously encouraging in this chat box, and they are trying to give a lot of beautiful answers. For them also, give a big round of applause. And next, this is the stage I give once again back to Ms. Farida for your things. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Supriya. Thank you so much, Ina. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much, Dr. Kavitha, for enlightening
Thank you
us
so much. Yeah.
with some new techniques, the ABC technique and negative spiral, the fast technique that is fair to yourself. Don't apologize. We generally have this habit of saying sorry, sorry, sorry again and again. I know I have this habit, so I'm going to curtail myself from saying sorry too often, right? I have the right to my opinions and I should not be sorry about that. Stick to your values. Yes, we all have our values. So stick to those values. Let nothing devalue yourself or take away from those values of yours, and be truthful to yourself. Be authentic, because that's finally you. Right. So thank you so much. And yes,
Thank you
destination
so much.
addiction. I knew that materialistic things cannot get me success, but I didn't know that this is a word that we say as destination addiction. So from now onwards, be happy with what you have and not expecting what I don't have, and don't be unhappy for that, but be happy for what we have. So let's be in that state of mind. So thank you once again. Thank you to all the happy family, the positive family, beautiful souls who are here. And it's because of your time and efforts and your involvement that we are able to have this session going full, in full Josh. So thanks once again to everybody, and a round of applause to all of us. Let's pat up ourselves, right? For being there every session and making it a success. So yes, thank you from my heart to your heart. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. So, Dr. Gaurav, yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your evening.